dryer to dry some clothes, and I smell this funny burning smell coming from the dryer. And I look inside, I look for smoke, I don't see anything, but I shut the dryer off and pull the plug out of the 250 volt 50 amp out of the wall, and you can see this is starting to melt. So upon further investigation, I also find that the plug-in in the wall is also burned and melted. This is the cover that comes off of the wall outlet, and you can see there are definitely some signs of burning in there. And this is a hard plastic cover, and it definitely could have caused a fire. So I went down to my local Lois's and got these two items. One is the female part, the plug, and then the male plug cord for this dryer. And about 50 bucks later, I'm back home now and about to start the repairs on replacement of these items. So the first thing I want to do now is turn the dryer off, and as you can see, I have shut the breaker at the panel. You don't want to get hit with 250 volts. So just to make sure we have no power going to that wall plug, I'm gonna use this multimeter tester on it. I'm gonna set it to 600 volt AC, and we're gonna use the probes right here to check for power. Even though I cut it off, I'm going to make sure that there's no power there. It would not be a good day to get hit with that much power. So I moved the dryer out of the way so that I can get to the wall. And look at all of these wonderful treasures that I found. Oh, there's that hair tie that I lost. I think the cat plays with it. And yes, this thing is definitely burnt. This is just, you can see it's discolored. It looks like it's been on fire inside the cover. Thank goodness it had a hard cover on it, and it didn't get to this paneling right here. Okay. Okay, so I've got the, sorry, it was upside down, I think. So I've got the red on one leg of the socket, and this is the ground where I've got the black going in, the black lead. And so as you can see down there, I have 0 current. Thank goodness. Let's see, I'm gonna try one more here. We'll do this right here. Black there, still nothing. It is cut off, all power is cut off. Wish me luck. I hope I don't get a shock. I don't need a shock right now. So I'm gonna start by taking the new wall plug apart. It's a flat screwdriver and fits right down in here, and you just unthread this. Now you can see I do have it's a straight head screwdriver, just a regular screwdriver, and you pull this off, and we got some little goodies in here to attach the new cord that's coming through the wall. And oh, this one looks so much better than the old one does. So I'm going to start out using a Phillips head screwdriver to remove these from the wall. There's only like 4, maybe less. We'll see. Okay, so there was 3 screws holding the old one on, but the new one has 4 holes, as you can see, just about on the 4 corners. Also, it's going to be a 4-wire connect. This leg will probably carry 125. This leg will carry 125. This leg, it attaches at that silver screw that you can see, and that's the 3rd leg. And then you'll have your ground on the green right here. Also, I noticed that the old one is coming through the wall, and so I have to remove this plug, and it has one on the bottom and on the back. So I have to remove this plug with a screwdriver. You can see the hole through it, so you just pop it out. It's got one little tack weld there holding it in place. Also, I'm going to have to come up with a little extra wire coming from here. This wire was almost burnt completely in two, as you can see right here. It is just almost just burnt completely in two. This was a bad one. Also, as you can see where the wiring comes through, it's got a little piece of hardware there with 2 screws in it that holds the wire in place to keep it from moving inside the socket. So I'm going to be taking that loose, and then I will put a new one back in there. I hadn't got to this phase of putting the installation back together, but I am using some dielectric grease, and this is a grease that does not conduct electricity. Okay, so it's upside down again. Sorry about that. This is the wire coming out. I still have to pull some more wire and pay close attention to the lengths of each of those and pull out enough to get past that burn point. I think there will probably be enough, I hope. But and also upon assembling the new hardware to hold the wire in place, I'm going to have to notice that the screws are coming through the back a little too far, so I'm going to take and hit that with a file or a grinder and knock those down closer to flush on the back of this plate, because this goes flush up against the wall right there. So I think this wall, or this wire, is attached up in the wall because I can't get any extra to pull out. So what I'm going to have to do is pull this panel back a little here and see what's going on behind the panel. This has turned into a bigger job than I thought. Okay, so I got the panel pulled back a little bit, and it's not in very good focus, but you can see there is a staple holding the wire to the 2x4 behind the wall. So I'm going to have to take that staple out to get some extra slack in the line. And I may have to move the socket further up the wall if I shorten the wire too much. We'll see what happens. Still working on it. I'm trying to get that staple out right now, so progress, continued progress. Okay, so you can see right here, this was a black wire. That insulation has burnt all the way down into the cover insulation around all of the wires, and that's where it had stopped. I'm sure that insulation on that black wire probably was as long as it is on that red wire. So what I'm going to do now, I did get this out of the wall so I can work on it. I'm going to trim the wire up. I am going to move the socket higher up on the wall, and that will be advantageous to my plug, because it's a 6-foot cord, but it won't be too short, and if I need to, I can trim part of it off, and it won't be as much of a draw on this. So that's the progress so far. So I had to cut a hole a little higher in the wall where I'm going to mount my new socket. You can see it's about a foot, so, and I had to cut off 6 or 8 inches of that wire just to cut it back far enough to where there was no thread that had been heat damaged and burned. So I actually opened up the hole about another 1/4 of an inch. I think it's more in line with the one down here. Maybe just a little wider, but that'll be okay. There's still plenty of paneling there to attach the new socket to. So I trimmed these wires, stuck them through the hole. Trimmed them before I stuck them through, and trimmed them comparable size to the way they were attached to the old socket. The lengths are a little different on each one of them, so that's just to make it easier to get it to attach with those screws. So now we're going to attach the new socket to the cut off new wire. Okay, so we got all 4 of the wires attached. That's a feat trying to get those wires bent around and in those places, but you just do a little bit at a time, work them in there, and it'll go right in place. Okay, I ground those screws down. It's hard to see, there's a shadow cast, but I ground those screws down for clearance in the back, and I got the wires mounted. So now I'm about to mount this socket to the wall. Okay, got the socket mounted back to the wall, and now we're ready to put the staple on the wire to hold on the 2x4 to hold it in there.